I'm going to say something most men don't want to hear, but it explains everything. You don't fear intimacy. You fear that moment when you make a move and she pulls back. That instant shift where the vibe dies, her energy changes, and you realize you misread everything. And because of that fear, you hesitate, you overthink, you play it safe. But here's the truth. That hesitation is exactly why it never happens. Because attraction doesn't respond to safety, it responds to feeling. And if you don't understand how that feeling is created, you'll keep getting the same result over and over again. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Women don't reject intimacy. They reject the feeling attached to it. Let that sink in. If the moment feels wrong, the answer is no. If it feels right, the answer doesn't need to be asked. It just happens. And that's the shift most men never understand. They think it's about what to say, when to ask, how to push things forward, but it's not. It's about creating an emotional experience where intimacy feels natural instead of forced. And once you see this, everything changes. Picture this. You're sitting next to her, not too close, but close enough that you can feel her presence. Her voice gets softer. She tucks her hair behind her ear. For a second, just a second, her eyes drop to your lips. That moment right there, that's where most men lose it. They rush. They overthink. They either jump too fast or freeze completely. But here's where things change. Instead of reacting, you slow down. You stay calm. You let the moment breathe. And that alone creates something rare, tension. Because attraction isn't built through action. It's built through contrast, through the space between what's happening and what could happen next. And this is where most men get it wrong. They think they need to make a move. But the real power is in making her feel like she wants to move closer on her own. Now, understand this deeply. Women experience desire differently. For you, attraction can be instant, visual, physical. But for her, it builds, layer by layer, through emotion, safety, anticipation. That's why she can feel nothing at first, and then suddenly feel everything later. Not because she changed, but because the emotional experience changed. And if you rush that process, you kill it before it even starts. Let's go deeper, because this is where everything flips. Most men ask directly, "Do you want to come over? Should we go somewhere more private?" And the moment they say it, something breaks, because now it's pressure. Now it's a decision. And decisions live in the logical mind, where doubt exists. But attraction? That lives in the emotional mind. And the emotional mind doesn't respond to pressure. It responds to feeling. So instead of asking, you invite. Not with words that push, but with energy that pulls. Imagine this. You're in that same moment, close, calm, connected. And instead of asking anything, you simply say quietly, "This feels really easy with you." That's it. No demand, no expectation, just a statement. And suddenly, she feels something, because now it's not about what you want. It's about what's already happening between you. And here's where it gets dangerous. Because when you remove pressure, you activate something powerful. Her curiosity. She starts asking herself questions. Why does this feel different? Why am I so comfortable right now? And curiosity is the beginning of desire. But here's where most men ruin it. The moment they feel that shift, they try to lock it in. They talk more. They explain. They push. And just like that, the tension disappears. Because tension needs space. And if you don't give it space, it dies. Now let me show you something almost no one talks about. The soft withdrawal effect. This is where the real shift happens. You're sitting close. The energy is building. And instead of leaning in, you lean back slightly. Not in rejection, not in coldness, just enough to create distance. And that distance does something unexpected. It removes pressure. And in that absence of pressure, she becomes aware of her own desire. She leans in. She closes the gap, not because you forced it, but because she felt it. And this is the part most men never experience, because they're always chasing the moment, instead of letting the moment come to them. Now, here's another layer, the implanted thought. You don't ask for intimacy, you plant a feeling. You say something like, "You have a really calming energy. It's kind of addictive." And then you stop. You don't explain it. You don't follow it up. You let it sit. And now she's thinking about it, feeling it, becoming aware of something she hadn't fully noticed before. And that awareness slowly turns into desire. But here's where everything either works or completely falls apart: your energy. If you're nervous, tense, or outcome focused, she feels it instantly. And the moment she feels pressure, she pulls back. But when you're calm, grounded, not trying to force anything, something shifts. Her guard drops. She relaxes. She opens. Because now she feels safe. And safety isn't about time, it's about energy. It's about being with someone who isn't trying to take something, but is simply present in the moment. Now imagine this final moment. You're both quiet, close, no rush, no pressure. And instead of asking anything, you simply say softly, "It's crazy how natural this feels right now." And then, nothing. You let the silence exist. You let the moment speak. And that's when it happens. Not because you asked, not because you pushed, but because the moment led there on its own. And here's the truth no one tells you: rejection doesn't come from asking at the wrong time, it comes from creating the wrong feeling. Fix the feeling, and you don't need to ask. Most men will hear this and still do the same thing. They'll rush, they'll overthink, they'll ask too directly and wonder why it doesn't work. But a few will understand this at a deeper level. They'll slow down, they'll create tension, they'll let moments build instead of forcing them. And those men, they don't hear no the same way anymore. If you're one of those men, you already know this isn't just advice, it's a shift. And once you see it, you can't unsee it.